guys. Nick Lessigore here.
Brandon Delakiai.
Exit 12.
Brewery. In the house.
Okay. So we're here. I'm a little rattled. I'm a little rattled right now.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're here on another brew day, only 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Separated from our last brew day, which was a New England IPA that we entered in a homebrew competition. Dropped the cans off earlier this week. Kaboom. Should have results in a few weeks. But today we're doing a brown ale in the Anvil Foundry. Really pumped about this brew day because we changed some things about our water volumes.
Sure, yeah.
So with our volumes, we were almost half a gallon higher than we normally are on our yield. So we were trying to mess with the numbers a little bit, and the best way I can explain it is what we found was lowering the boil off from a gallon to a half a gallon, and then increasing our the loss that we have on the chiller from half a gallon to a gallon. We found that our approximate numbers were much better in line than they were with the New England IPA.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to finish, our pre-boil is supposed to be approximately around 1.054 with our starting gravity around 1.056, which is a lot more reasonable for a unit that has 3 temperature probes on it, or rather 3 boiling probes that really more evenly distributes the boil in the unit like the Anvil does. You're not going to see those generally you're not going to see those drastic changes in a 120 volt unit in your gravity from pre-boil to starting gravity with a unit that has such an even distribution of the boil.
Sure, yeah.
So what we're going with this is our lateral cohesion brown ale, but it's a little bit different. You've seen a brew day before of the lateral cohesion that Brandon may or may not have been a part of. I can't remember.
Probably was.
You have like 15 kids, so it may have been a brew day when he was.
I have two of those.
2 of those things. But we made some changes, and so going with more of a Golden Promise centric grain bill with only a pound of Breeze 2-row. We took out the chocolate malt. We want this to be a little bit more of a traditional brown ale.
Yeah, not as dark. The first lateral cohesion was very dark. It was a dark brown ale. You could barely see through the thing.
It was very dark. It almost looked like a stout.
Yep.
So this one's going to be a lot lighter in color. We're utilizing both a Whirlflock tablet and Irish moss, whereas in the previous versions we've only utilized the Irish moss. Yep. So overall, this is a brew day we're really excited about. I'm excited to see with our fermentation chamber getting the temp down the way we want for a cold crash and really letting it sit and take its time to clear out. I'm excited to see how clear we can get this thing.
Let's do this.
Apparently we're doing it. All right, we're gonna mash in on the brown ale. A quick tip for Foundry users, and really overall anybody utilizing an all-in-one system. Right before you want to set your strike water temperature. So for us it's 160 because we want to mash in at 150. But right before you mash in, you want to bring that temperature back down to 150 so that the system isn't heating up as you're losing temperature adding the grain. So
let's do this.
Let's mash in.
Yep.
As you can see, the mash is relatively thin. We like to mash in at 1.7 quarts per pound. Generally for like a stout, something that you want to extract more sugar from, maybe make the beer a little bit thicker, you'd probably mash in at 1.25 quarts a pound. But this 1.7 has really been good to us over the years, and it's something that we continue to utilize in our beers. And right now, just kind of mixing it up, making sure there are no dough balls. You don't want dough balls because when we're recirculating, the water isn't going to go through the grain and really extract all the sugars that you want to get out of it. So we're going to let this settle for 10 minutes and then we're going to start recirculating. As you can see, the flow is looking so good. And that is a pretty quintessential colored looking brown ale. If that's even an accurate statement.
Quintessential color.
That is a quintessential brown ale.
Alright guys, so I figured I'd just show you guys our Sparge setup, using the pump and everything, and how we sort of have our brew house set up now. We're utilizing the Brew for Sparge water heater, so we're just recirculating it to make sure it gets up to temp fast. We are up to our Sparge water temp. We fastened down the Blickman Riptide, which is right now recirculating the mash. Once that is done, we will take these quick disconnects that I put on all our system, and we'll just take it from the mash tun over to the Sparge water heater, and then we'll use that to Sparge. So that's sort of the setup we have going now. The Blickman Riptide is awesome. It can do almost everything we need it to do for our brew house. We also have a whirlpool setup, which is friggin' awesome. We're not whirlpooling for the brown ale, but we'll show you that, and I believe we did that for the New England, and we'll be showing you that in other videos. Another thing we absolutely love is the Anvil Foundry keeps temp like insane. We've been right at 150 the whole time. We love that we can push back the power to find that sweet spot to keep it just at the right temperature. Another thing that we definitely did was we moved our setups as close to each other as possible. This configuration right here works best for us. We have 5-foot hoses, high temp hoses, and we found that having the two setups right next to each other is perfect. At some point we might just get a big long table, but we do love the hydraulic lift here. So yeah, we find that this setup right here is the best for us. And buying the Riptide instead of the pump that came with the Anvil was a huge investment, but it's definitely one that I would recommend.
I'm not sure if it comes across camera, but today is a bit of a wild and rainy one here in southern New England. We'll see how cooling down goes utilizing the jaded wort chiller. But it's gonna be rainy for the whole day. But you know what? Thank goodness that we're inside brewing. All right, it's time for us to sparge. So we're taking the Foundry tubing and the spout. As Brandon showed you earlier, we connect from the Foundry. We take a quick disconnect, boom. And we connect it to the Brew, and it's an easy way for us to sparge, and the flow is just phenomenal. And as quickly as the rain started, yeah, we've got some snow. The first snow of the year. Brandon's favorite day.
Time of the year. The slosh, I love it.
And here it is. Okay, we're at the boil. I'm gonna grab a sample for the refractometer, and Brandon's gonna add what?
What is it, a half ounce of Pato hops?
I don't know, you tell me. Is it a half ounce of Pato hops?
Pato hops? It is.
Boom.
It is. Next to the pick.
Winter in New England has begun. We knew it was going to be a rainy and snowy mix today, but so far, 10 in the morning, seems like it's a lot more snow than rain. All right, 20 minutes left in the boil. We're going to add another half ounce of Pato hops. It's a high alpha acid hop that is designed to give off some spicy taste, just really more of a bittering, and then we're adding at 20 minutes as a little bit of an aroma hop, just a half ounce to kind of get us in that bitterness range. All right, 10 minutes left till the end of the boil. We have a Whirlflock tablet and I think a teaspoon of Irish moss going in. Oh yeah. we really want to get this thing clear, so that's why we added both clarifying agents. It's not generally suggested or even practiced too much.
But we're gonna do it.
But we're fucking doing it.
That's right. Nobody can tell us what to do. All right. Teaspoon of yeast nutrient going in. Kaboom. Stop following me around with the camera.
All right, so we just hit the end of the boil. Talking about some readings, we'll go over some quick readings that we got and some things we're doing to move forward. I really felt like we had things dialed in. I changed some numbers, as I mentioned, between boil off and between chilling loss and things like that. We were supposed to start with a pre-boil gravity of 0.56, only able to hit 0.49, and we're not really sure why, because the first runnings gravity was at 0.63. So to go from 0.63 to 0.49 is a big leap.
Yeah.
And we added 2 3/4 gallons of water, so our yield was perfect, was right where we wanted it for the numbers.
Yeah, I think one thing we did think about is the riptide is very fast. So I think, you know, making that to like a creep crawl for the Sparge might work. Either that or going back to the old, you know, non-pump sparging might help. Other than that, we were talking about the grain crush, but with the numbers we got on the mash, that doesn't seem like a culprit. So we're just gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, gonna have to go back to the drawing board. But for this beer specifically, I just took a reading. We're at 0.52 for an OG. So we're gonna let this thing boil for another half hour. That was weird, it just adjusted. Did you see the screen? That was weird. We have ghosts in the brewery.
Oh, don't say that, dude. It's Halloween.
It is. It's Halloween. Halloween is tomorrow. Really excited about that. So we're gonna let this boil off another half hour. Hopefully get to 0.53, 0.54, something respectable as we're
now.
Yeah, as we're
spooky.
Very spooky. And we'll go from there and give you guys some numbers at the end. Bitterness is going to go up quite a little bit, extending the boil to a half hour, but you know, these are the things that happen on brew day. We're not fans of adding DME or LME into the boil to get to our gravity, so we're going to continue on.
Cheers.
All right, we literally just turned the jaded Scylla wort chiller on, and as you can see, and as you've seen before in videos, this thing is just losing temps so quick, and I love it. Brandon's enjoying the weather outside.
It's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Nick's fat inside.
Alright, taking a look at the dead space loss for the Anvil Foundry. You would think because there's a dip tube that there wouldn't be much loss, if any, but there actually is, and it's quite a bit. We had the dip tube all the way down, and we found that the dip tube does not run really even close to the very bottom of the kettle. This is 4 cups, which is 1/4 gallon in dead space loss, and that's something that we'll be adjusting in the Beersmith profile that we created.
All right, guys, we're ready to pitch the yeast. We have some White Labs British Ale yeast. We're gonna pitch into this brown ale. We ended up a few points off 0.55, 3 or 4 points off from our 0.58 that we were looking for, but our yield was right on the money at 5.5 gallons. So we're gonna pitch this bad boy. Let's shake it up a little bit.
This is a 1 liter yeast starter,
Yep.
which is par for the course for what we do. As Brandon would say, that's going to go down.
Do this. I'm not a good multitasker.
Yeah, well, that's evident.
I am actually a great multitasker.
As Brandon would say, time to pitch.
Is that what I say?
Yep. And we pitch the entire 1 liter starter. We find that it takes off quickly and the fermentation is clean. We're going to be fermenting this the first day at 65, and once it really starts to get going, we're going to bring it up to about 67.
Get all them bad boys
Get
out.
the little bits.
Kaboom! Kablam! As Nick would say.